I still can't believe they're gone. Spring break was supposed to be carefree. Sun, sand, cheap drinks, and bad decisions. That's what we all wanted. Me, Jess, Marcus, and Danny. We rented this beach house out in the Outer Banks. It was old, but charming, with that sea-weathered look. Jess found it on a sketchy website, and we all joked about how it was probably haunted. I wish we hadn't joked. The first few days were perfect. We swam, partied, stayed up late talking about nothing. But on the third night, something changed. We were walking along the beach after dark. The moon was huge, orange and low, like it was watching us. That's when we saw it, a path through the dunes that hadn't been there before. It wasn't just a worn trail. It looked like it had been freshly carved into the sand, leading toward an old lifeguard tower we hadn't noticed earlier. Danny swore it hadn't been there the day before. Marcus laughed and dared us to follow it. Of course we did. The air felt colder the moment we stepped off the beach and into the dunes, like crossing into a different world. The path twisted strangely, and the wind didn't seem to reach us anymore. That silence. It wasn't natural. The tower was falling apart, boards warped, paint peeling, and a faded red flag still fluttering in the windless air. Jess climbed up first, her phone flashlight barely cutting through the dark. I followed, but I already felt uneasy. There were names carved into the wood, dozens of them, some so weathered they were almost invisible. I only remember one clearly. Caroline, 1986. Suddenly, Jess let out a sharp gasp. I scrambled up behind her, but she was gone. Just gone. No scream, no sound. 1 second she was standing there, the next, nothing. We thought she was messing with us. For a second we laughed. Then we realized her phone was still on the floor of the tower. The screen cracked. We called her name for hours. No signal. No help. Eventually, we walked back to the house in silence. The trail behind us was gone, completely erased, like the dunes had never been disturbed. The next night, Marcus said he was going back, said he had to see for himself, that maybe Jess was waiting. Danny tried to stop him, but he left anyway. We never saw him again. By sunrise, Danny was packing. She wanted out. I begged her not to leave me alone, but she wouldn't listen. She ran into the fog. That was the last time I saw her. Now, it's just me. And I know that tower is still out there, waiting. That path will show itself again, just like before. And when it does, I don't know if I'll follow. But sometimes, late at night, I hear footsteps on the sand. Not seagulls, not the wind. Footsteps, climbing stairs that shouldn't still be standing. I think they want me to join them. And I don't know how much longer I can resist. I still remember the way the sun shimmered over the lake that day. Spring break of 2014. We were just a bunch of college kids looking for a fun, low-key trip, so we rented a lakeside cabin at a place called Devil's Cove in Texas. The name felt more dramatic than anything, like one of those cheesy horror movies, but we didn't think twice about it. It was just a quiet getaway. There were 5 of us, but Clara and I were the closest. We'd been roommates since freshman year, and I trusted her like a sister. She was funny, brave, and never afraid to speak her mind. That week she seemed lighter, happier than I'd seen her in months. I guess that's part of what makes this so hard. On the third night, we went to a party down by the dock. Just music, cheap drinks, and a bonfire glowing under the stars. At some point, I lost track of Clara. It wasn't unusual. She was always wandering off to talk to new people. I figured she'd meet me back at the cabin. But when I woke up the next morning, her bed was still made, her phone was on the counter, her flip-flops still by the door. It was like she'd just disappeared into the air. We searched everywhere, checked with people at the party, drove the roads, even asked the local gas station if anyone had seen her. Nothing. Just one weird clue. A voicemail on my phone, left at 2:37 a.m. It was only a few seconds long, a rush of wind, then Clara's voice, whispering something I couldn't quite make out. I must have played it 100 times. It sounded like she was scared. When we told the police, they did their best, but something felt off. A week later, they found her necklace in the sand near the boat launch. The clasp broken. It was the only thing ever recovered. There was surveillance footage from the docks, but the section from 2 to 3 a.m. was corrupted. The officers said it happens, but I've worked with digital files before. It doesn't just happen like that. Not cleanly, not conveniently. A few locals mentioned stories, rumors about people going missing in that area. Not often, but enough. The kind of stories that get brushed off as drunken accidents or folks who just wanted to disappear. Clara didn't want to disappear. She had plans. A future. It's been years, and I still go back every spring. I walk that shoreline, talk to the people, post flyers, hoping someone saw something, heard something, remembers anything. People tell me to let it go, but I can't, because someone out there knows what happened that night at Devil's Cove, and I'm not leaving until I find out who. I was never supposed to be in Miami. Melissa had practically dragged me there for spring break, said we both needed a break from campus stress and boy drama. We booked the cheapest hotel we could find just off Ocean Drive. It was a little grimy, a little dated, but we didn't plan to spend much time in the room anyway. We checked into room 308 on a Monday. I remember because the front desk guy gave us this awkward smile, like he just remembered something bad, but wasn't allowed to say it. Melissa noticed it too. She laughed it off. I should have paid more attention. The first 2 days were everything we wanted. Beach in the morning, parties at night, food trucks, and loud music everywhere. It wasn't until Wednesday night that things went wrong. We'd gone out to some rooftop bar. It was loud, packed, but fun. I remember dancing for hours and Melissa disappearing for a while. Said she was talking to some guy near the bar. When the music started getting too heavy for me, I told her I was heading back. She nodded, mouthed, "I'll be right behind you," and smiled. That was the last time I saw her. I got back to room 308 around 1 a.m. I kicked off my shoes, checked my phone, and waited for her to walk in. I must have fallen asleep, because when I opened my eyes, it was daylight. Her bed hadn't been touched. Her phone was still on the nightstand. At first, I wasn't too worried. Maybe she crashed at someone else's place. It wouldn't have been the first time on this trip. But by noon, after a dozen unanswered texts and no response to calls, I started to panic. I went to the front desk to ask if they'd seen her come in during the night. The woman behind the counter frowned. "You're in room 308?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Checked in Monday." She typed something on her computer, then looked up, confused. "There's no one listed under that room. We've had it blocked off for maintenance all week." I laughed, thinking it was a mistake. But when I insisted she check again, she called over the manager. He confirmed it. No record of us checking in, no charges, no keycard history. They even pulled the security footage from the hallway cameras. We weren't on it. Not once. According to the footage, room 308's door hadn't opened all week. Back upstairs, I tried the keycard. It still worked. Inside, our things were there. Clothes, makeup, Melissa's sandals by the balcony. Everything except Melissa herself. I packed everything I could into my bag and left without checking out. I didn't care if it made sense anymore. Something was wrong with that room, with that hotel, with the silence. That night, I booked a room at a chain hotel across the city. I tried reporting Melissa missing, but nothing stuck. I had no booking confirmation, no evidence she'd ever been there. They couldn't even verify my stay. It's been 4 months now. No leads, no trace. Every week I still check the hotel site. Room 308 is never listed. Not booked, not available. It's like it doesn't exist. But sometimes I dream I'm back there. I'm lying in the bed, and I can hear the door open. Soft footsteps, the edge of the bed dipping, and someone whispering my name.